Hey friend, welcome to the Self-Care Isn't Selfish podcast. I'm your host, Emily Nichols. I'm a self-care coach who is on a mission to help you get your body and mind fit through simple and sustainable self-care habits. And I get it. I'm a busy working boy mom who used to feel like a hot mess all the time until I found a solution, my own self-care routine. And friend, I want that for you too. Join us each week to hear attainable self-care tips for all areas of your life from my amazing guests or Quickie episodes with me, sharing my own experiences and professional wellness knowledge. After each episode, you'll leave with an action plan to start making self-care a priority in your life and get your body and mind fit. So grab a cup of coffee, glass of wine, or your favorite sparkling water, and let's do this. Hey, Happy New Year. It's 2021. Welcome to the new year. Goodbye, 2020. You're listening to episode 77 of the Self-Care Isn't Selfish podcast. I have a really fun self-care quickie tip for you today. And I've been thinking about doing this episode for quite a while because it's something I talk to a lot of my clients about, and I thought it would be the perfect way to kick off 2021. But before we dig into today's conversation, I just wanted to say best of luck and congrats to everyone that has started the January Whole30, in particular my clients doing my Whole30 Anytime Course. Gang, you can still jump in. That's why I created the course, thus the name Anytime. You can jump in anytime to the Whole30 Anytime Course and start your day one with me as your virtual accountability coach, cheerleader, giving you virtual hugs all along the way and some bonus upgrades you can do. But every week you'll be able to catch me on a free webinar if you'd like to learn a little bit more if it's a good fit for you or not. Hear a little bit more about my own family's transformation from doing the Whole30 back in 2015 as well. There's links in the show notes for you for that. So go check it out. I'd love to see you within the course. One more reminder. So gang, you know, I have my free Facebook group. It's just the Self-Care Isn't Selfish podcast community. And we've been having a lot of fun over there. Each week I host some type of workshop or post a worksheet to really dig in deeper to each week's message that I'm sharing each week on the show. We took a couple weeks off at the end of the year because hashtag self-care. I was spread a little thin. You know how it is being a mom during the holidays, but we're picking those back up this week and I'd love for you to come join me over there. It's absolutely free. There's usually a lot of funny memes and jokes going around because that's just how I roll and I love funny memes just to get me through the day. You know what I mean? But today's episode, I'll have a worksheet for you posted this Thursday and I'd love to have you over there. But go ahead and get a pen and paper out because you'll definitely want to take notes. So today, for this quickie episode to jumpstart your 2021, I am sharing with you my top 10 personal development apps on my phone. I share these all the time with my clients any way that I can kind of hack into my own habits and systems and give myself reminders and make my life a little bit easier. I'm all for it. And these apps help me along my personal development journey to do just that. You know, technology is sometimes a curse and a lot of times a blessing at the same time too. I mean, hello 2020, we were able to still stay connected with folks, but at the same time we were, you know, noses in our phone or our laptops all the time. But I digress. These are 10 apps that I use almost daily or at least weekly to help me, and I know it will help you too. And you may have heard of some of these. Some of you may have not heard of these. So I really hope it's helpful for you. I'll give you a second. Get out a pen and a paper. Okay, you ready? Let's go. Number one, this is obvious. My podcast app. Whatever you listen to your podcast on, it's one of the apps I use all the time. Obviously, I check in with my show, but I listen to a lot of other really great podcasts for inspiration and fitness and mindset, habit stacking and tracking. Also just parenting and being a mom and being a friend and being just a woman in this world today. I really am I like listening to things. I've always loved reading books, but just being a busy working mom, it's better for me to listen to things. So usually my kids will catch me in the shower, listening to a podcast, getting ready, listening to a podcast, or doing the dishes, doing the laundry, just walking around the house, listening to a podcast with it shoved usually in my hoodie pocket. So that's a really great app. Obviously you're on one now listening. So that's a giveaway for you. Number 2. So, funny story. So for Christmas, my boys and my husband surprised me with a new Apple Watch. I used to have one a few years ago, and then when I started running, I got a Garmin instead because I felt like it was more accurate, but then I really just missed my Apple Watch, the look of it and the applications on it. So they got me a new Apple Watch for Christmas, but my husband thought he was so clever. He got me this funny little watch that looks like what Napoleon Dynamite wore, like what my husband wore in junior high, and wrapped it around an apple. I was like, oh, we got you an Apple Watch. Real funny, babe. Real funny. But he pulled through. He gave me a real Apple Watch after that. But what I loved about it was closing my rings. And that had to do with the amount of time I was standing during the day, my exercise, and calories burned throughout the day. But what I really love about it is it's giving me some type of movement goal throughout the day, and I'm able to track my steps as well. So I really like having that fitness app to look back on. And you can look back throughout the calendar as well. My 12-year-old son Dylan also has an Apple Watch, and it's really cool to watch him to try to be active to close all his rings as well. So my fellow Apple Watch users, you got to close those rings. Number 3, this app is so cool, guys. Okay. Hey, and all of these apps I'm listing, majority of them are free. There are paid versions of them as well, but I usually just do the free ones because that's how I roll. So anyways, number 3, this app is called Think Up, THINK Up. Think Up. It is a app for positive affirmations or mantras. So the way it works with the free version, I feel like there's more bells and whistles with the paid version, but I have the free version. With Think Up, you're able to customize mantras or positive affirmations to say throughout the day, and it comes up as a notification on your phone. And you can have music to it. You can have like calming backgrounds like a forest or a waterfall or rainbows, unicorns, I don't know. But it's really great because it pops up and it'll be like, Emily, you are strong and confident. And it's something that I wrote. And they even provide already written mantras or positive affirmations as well. But I love being able to customize it too. And I'm always changing it depending on how I'm feeling, what I'm going through at that time. So this has really been an app I've used mostly in 2020. Is something new that I started using, and I recommend it to all of my Whole30 clients, personal training clients, everyone, because I think it's such a really cool app. Number 4, I just started using it this week, and I think it's so cool, is the Calm app. So I know a lot of you have heard of this, and it's a great way to kind of mellow out at the end of the day as you're going to bed. There's celebrities that can read stories. I mean, hello, could you have Matthew McConaughey read me a bedtime story every night? Yes, please, thank you. All right. But also it has calming music, nature sounds, and whatnot. It's like a meditation app that I really like using it to wind down at the end of the night. My husband likes listening to it as well. Number 5, Headspace. This is a meditation app that I have been using for a number of years. I use it off and on. When I started doing meditation or prayer, if you will, I needed a guide because my mind would just wander like crazy. So Headspace is great because it has this guy with this amazing little British accent voice to kind of lead you through a meditation. You can set the timing, whether it be like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever works for you. And now I don't use it quite as much, but when I feel like I'm not being as mindful during my meditation, or I feel my brain wandering as it often does, sometimes I'll start using it again. And again, you can set notifications like, hey, it's time to meditate or pray. And I really like having that option as well. Number 6, Audible. I love, just as much as I love listening to podcasts, I love listening to books. I used to drive a whole bunch for work, and I didn't even know what songs were on the radio because I was always listening to books on Audible, and I love it when the author reads them. Now, every once in a while, you'll get a recording of an author where it's like, it's kind of boring. I don't like the way they're talking. And that's okay. You have you have your own permission to stop that book and maybe read it in your own voice, like as an actual book. But Audible is a really great way, just kind of like how I mentioned, listening to podcasts, for me to be able to listen to books, personal development books for that matter, as I'm doing the dishes, as I'm driving my kids around. And it's really great for them to hear as well. You know, my youngest loves listening to a couple little nature podcasts that my husband listens to as well, which I think is just really cool, and you're already setting that standard for them. So we've talked about numerous times on the show, your kids are watching and listening. So go ahead and walk around the house with listening to a book or a podcast. Number 7. This is kind of a two for Spotify, a two for one if you'll hang with me here for a second. So number 7 is Spotify. I love listening to music. It really can take you back. It puts you in a mood. And when I used to teach at Cycle Bar for a few years, I was curating my own playlist, and it just brought me the utmost joy to put these together and make them flow together, and the remixes and how it made you feel. And my kids do the same thing now. They love Spotify, listening to music as well. Sometimes I got to kick them off because it's time for me to listen to it while I'm working out. But if that's the case, I do use an app called Fit Radio. That is a paid app that I personally use as a personal trainer and fitness instructor when I teach my classes. That is the music platform I use because I like it, because it has all remixes and I can take out the naughty words, which is really great. But music, in my opinion, is such a high form of self-care and a way for you to take care of yourself and nurture yourself. And you can find me on Spotify. I'll include a link in the show notes as well if you want to check out my millions of playlists from teaching classes over the years. But find some music app on your phone to be able to play in the background while you're working, or if you need to do a dance party in your kitchen or alone in your car. I've been jamming out to some No Doubt and Gwen Stefani this week. Love it. So on another note, I love Gwen Stefani. I love No Doubt even more. You guys hear me? I know you do. Number 8, Moxie. Moxie.xyz. This is the app or platform I use to teach my virtual classes, but I can also hop on the app and go to other people's classes. So I have other friends across the country who are fitness instructors, and I can take their virtual classes, which this platform was born in the 2020 pandemic and era, enable for fitness instructors to still continuing teaching and reaching people in a virtual capacity. And I just love it. So there's a link in the show notes. If you would like to join me for a virtual fitness class, I personally am just doing video on demand. So you can do a monthly subscription. I have tons of lower body and upper body and HIIT classes already uploaded there for you to be able to do at your leisure. They're all about 30 minutes in length. Some have music, some don't. With the platform being new, we're just now adding music onto the pre-recorded stuff, which is really exciting. So here's some of my Fit Radio or Spotify playlists on there. But moving my body, in my opinion, as you've heard me say millions of times, is one of the highest forms of self-care, and I feel like is a form of personal development. So if you're looking for a way to move your body at home, definitely check out moxie.xyz in your app store, and you can find me under Emily Nichols or in the show notes here to take a virtual class with me. Number 9, we're almost there. Number 9, the Wim Hof app. So I talked early in the summer about doing my cold shower experiment, and then winter came and I wasn't taking my cold showers quite as much. So if you don't know who Wim Hof is, he's known as the Iceman. He takes ice cold baths, showers, is crazy, like in the snow, ice man, crazy. But I went through the experiment doing cold showers, loved it. And then when winter hit, I wasn't doing it quite as often. I'm getting back into the habit now. I'm not doing them quite as long, just 60 seconds, which is still very empowering. You can go back and listen to my episodes from July of 2020 to hear more about my cold shower experiment. But Wim Hof has a breathing technique as well. And his app has his voice. If you've heard his voice, you know what I mean. It's really empowering and energetic, and his voice he's just so light. He feels like light to me. And he leads you through his breathing techniques, which is really, really cool. So I love the Wim Hof app, and it's something that I've been utilizing a little bit more. And number 10, we made it, is the Bible app, the Holy Bible. So regardless if you're a believer or not, I feel like you do need to believe in something. And I know for this year, for this new year, I've been wanting to be closer to God. And I've actually joined a Bible study with other like-minded women, which has been just wonderful. It's a group of women I didn't know very well, and I just love them so much now. And just hearing each other's stories and how we all just have so many similar challenges and vulnerabilities, and it's just wonderful to be able to connect with other women. But a couple of years ago, my husband, he had always wanted to read the Bible in a year. A lot of people at the beginning of a new year will say, I'm going to do the 52-week challenge of reading the Bible in a whole year. And each year we always failed because we would start at the beginning of the Bible, and it's just really confusing. You don't understand what's going on. So the app really helps because you're able to listen to the Bible just like you would a podcast or on Audible. So I really like using that for my devotionals each day and activities we're doing within our Bible study together. So if you can hear my dogs barking, I apologize. I'm at home. Real life stuff here. So anyway, those are my top 10 apps for personal development for the year of 2021. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you'd like to join me over in my free Facebook community, I'll have a worksheet in there so you can take a look at all these, but I hope you took some notes today as well. So gang, I made a post about this week on Instagram. This doesn't have to be new year, new you. I kind of don't like that saying because in all honesty, I want you to love yourself. The new year, new you mantra kind of implies that you should not like who you are. You should change who you are. And that's not necessarily the case. Maybe you just want to elevate who you are and just feel your best. You know what I mean? But I really feel like it needs to come from a place of self-love, and I want you to set goals for this year. It's really important to do that, but I also want you to just take it easy, take some small baby steps along the way, and I'll be helping you do that throughout the year. So give me a follow over on Instagram at EmilyNichols22 so we can get a behind-the-scenes look of what we're doing over there, and of course my Facebook community. And if you loved today's show, I would love it if you would leave a rating and review. So gang, Happy New Year. Let's make this a really great year full of self-love, self-care, and love for others as well. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you next week.